Here we go. This is going to be my first video on 2K21. The game isn't out in the UK yet. I know it's out in other parts of the world, but not yet here. And it's probably good to catch this before it comes out. So this is going to be my first series. I'm going to do a 7-part series over the next 7 days. And I'm going to break absolutely everything down as the game comes out and we start to figure it out a little bit. I'm going to talk about, the best starter squad tomorrow. Then I'm going to get into maximizing MT, how to avoid the traps that 2K are setting up for you. Game modes that I'm going to focus on, tactics, plays. I'm going to reflect on my week as well and walk you through my week 1 strategy after the fact. And I'm going to try and cover everything so you can have a really good year. But it's really important that you like and subscribe so you can follow this series. The first video is about my overall strategy. Now, if you watched any of my other videos, you'll know I'm an average player. I was new to my team last year. But yet I managed to go the whole year and get all the 12-0 rewards and do the whole thing, no money spent. My strategy this year is the same. And I want to walk you through exactly what those things are, the things that I'm focusing on this year. So the first thing is, before the game comes out, you've got to decide what you want to get out of it. Set some realistic expectations and set yourself up to avoid making impulsive decisions throughout the year that you probably end up regretting. So I'm sure that most people who played 2K20 My Team have a lot of decisions they regretted, and if you thought about them before, maybe you wouldn't have made those decisions. So it's really important you figure out what your goals are, so you don't end up stressing over any specific moments or a point in time and making a bad decision and picking up the wrong card and all these different things. Now, the main thing you have to understand is the first 6 months of this game are completely irrelevant. They mean nothing. Let me explain why. I didn't start playing My Team last year till about January, February, and again it was the first time I'd ever played the mode, first time I'd ever really played 2K. But it made no difference to my end of year results, I didn't go 12-0 until March. That was the first time I did it. So everything up until March was pointless. I ended with all the rewards, and I just want you to think about one thing, like right now. If you look at the boards now, and even through last month, Larry Bird is like 2 wins to get him. So whatever the first unlimited reward is going to be available for basically nothing later in the year. And those cards aren't that good. The early unlimited rewards are not going to make a huge amount of difference. So you can basically ignore unlimited for 4 to 5 months. There'll be a big difference in playing there. Not only will the rewards be easier to get, the earlier rewards, but you'll be much better at the game by then. You'll just understand the mechanics more. You'll understand the plays and the tactics that you can use to get ahead. So don't sweat it. Don't touch unlimited for 4 to 5 months. It won't make any difference at the end of the game. So the great thing about not worrying about those rewards until later in the year when they're easier to get is you don't need a god squad. If you're not running unlimited, you don't need overpowered players. So the great news is you don't have to spend a ridiculous amount of MT on players until at least March. I'm going to guarantee every single one of you picked up a card before March that you spent too much money on, whether it was just a card from a pack or a lock-in reward, whatever. You don't need to do it this year. Set your expectations, decide when you're really going to go after unlimited, and then just save your MT until then. You can still enjoy the game between now and then. So my initial focus is going to just be focusing on grinding as many free cards as I can. I'm going to build the best squad I possibly can, but really I'm just going to build the squad that I need. And I'm really going to be using cards to get other cards. That's going to be the goal in the short term. But there are some exceptions. There are some free cards that you don't want to pick up. And I'm going to tell you why in a later video, but not everything is as it seems with 2K. Now, giving yourself time to go and get those rewards later in the year achieves one other thing as well. It allows you to be patient with the game. We all know there's going to be problems with this game in the early days. Some people have already written it off from the demo, which happens every year apparently, and everyone buys it and enjoys it anyway. But with current gen, we're going to have problems. That's a fact. So we're going to have to reevaluate our strategy in November, December, and the game will be very different by that point with all the updates and the patches, and they'll fix all the problems. So I will change my strategy at that time, but it's really important that you're patient with the game. If the game's not working properly, and we know it won't for the first couple of months, don't start sweating. Just wait for them to fix everything. We've got time. It's not a problem. Now, I did pick up the slightly more expensive package where you get the current gen and the next gen version, because I don't want to be paying for the same game twice. I'd rather pay a little bit more now. So that does come with some freebies. It's going to come with some content. It's going to come with some packs. I'm going to show you again in a later video how I'm going to use that content to generate more MT. I'm certainly not going to waste those opportunities to, very rare that I open packs. But when I do, I want to make every single one of those packs count and every card I pull out of it. Now, the big thing that I want to achieve outside of, being no money spent and building a good squad at the end of the game there's one thing I really want to achieve. Now, I've said very clearly that I'm an average player who is, kind of hacked the game really last year. I figured out how to get ahead and how to get the rewards and everything else, just not being very good at the game. But when I got 2K in January, February, I was terrible at this game. I was really, really bad at it. I went online and I'd just get blown out almost every game. I was rage quitting in the first quarter. I couldn't play it at all. And then throughout the year, I went to an average player. And the first video I released was how an average player goes 12-0, on Unlimited. But I don't think I'm average anymore. I think maybe I'm above average. But my goal this year is really to focus on skill. And because I'm not going to be obsessing about cards for the first 5 months, and because I'm not going to trick myself into thinking those cards are going to make a difference, I want to focus on skill. The first sort of 5-6 months of this game, I'm really going to look at the mechanics. I'm going to get to know the playbooks. I want my strategy in place by the time I get to actually running on Unlimited and trying to defeat this ridiculous tier system that they've got in place. But I want to get better at the game. I want to get better. I want to know the animations. I want to get better on the releases. I want to understand more about what cards I should be using in terms of things that I'm good at. So strategy and skill is going to be my absolute priority, certainly over cards. Cards will never be my priority until probably August. But I want to get to a point that when I do run on Unlimited, I'm confident I can beat most people with any squad. And finally, I want to save and generate as much MT as I can. So when we get to the end game, there's 2 points. There's going to be March, April where I start competing, and then there's going to be the actual end game where July and August. And I just want to have as much MT as I can to build the ultimate God squad at the end of this game. Last year I generated 3.5 million MT, and if you've seen any of my videos, you know what my team looked like at the end of the year. I literally said there's not another card I want. I had every single card I wanted at the end of that game. So I want to do the same thing next year. I am going to generate MT. I'm going to be smarter with it. My goal is to have about 10 million in MT left by the end of the year, and I'm going to be posting videos daily for this entire year to show you guys how I'm progressing, to show you guys how I go about it. And I'm going to release now a 7-part series. We're going to drop another video tomorrow. That video tomorrow is going to be on the starter squads. I'm going to do my research. I'm going to tell you the best starter card to use. I'm going to tell you the best cards to pick up initially, just so you can start grinding and doing what you need to do. And then as we get on throughout the week, I'm going to get into more detail. Once I know this game, I'll figure out very quickly the quick ways to generate MT, the exact modes that you need to be playing and focusing on, particularly early in the game. And as the year goes on, we'll learn more and more. We'll figure out other hacks to go 12-0 and do all of these other things. It seems daunting when we start this game. Patience is the key. I don't care about the next 5 months. I'm going to give you content so you can enjoy it, but I want to be one of those people at the end of the year that's laughing because I didn't spend any money, not crying because I spent all my money. Like and subscribe. It's never been more important. You'll get updated on the next 6 videos that are coming out this week. Until then, thanks for watching, guys.